Here in Himachal Pradesh, the ancient flute called Murali is the most cherished musical instrument of the Gadi tribe. An instrument of the Barmor Gadi tribals of Barmer district, played to worship Lord Shiva and on auspicious marriage occasions. Thali Picha. This is an example of the indigenous talent of the Himachal Pradesh tribals. A normal metal plate placed on the mouth of a hollow pitcher is beaten to simple resonating rhythms that inspire and invigorate. This six-stringed musical instrument with its playing string or gut is called rabab, played with a tiny wooden spectrum called khunti. Khanjuri is the one-sided drum played by the main musician as the rhythm accompaniment. Tali, the tiny cymbals, are played by the accompanying vocalist. Jodi, twin flutes of equal size, played on marriage and khatna functions by the Gujars of Chamba in Himachal Pradesh. Karnal. And that brings us to the kandol, blowing voluminous notes of majesty. Notes of valor, chivalry, and the heroism of Himachal Pradesh are aptly demonstrated on the Ranasinga. In the musical ensemble of Kinnaur, we have the Shehnai, a reed instrument. Simple, straight rhythms are beaten on the dole. Big brass cymbals called bugjal, and a kettle drum, the nakara. With this musical ensemble, the people of Kinnaur dance wearing colorful costumes and the most fascinating jewelry. The yogis from the Alwar area of Rajasthan worship Bhairav. They start with the notes of the chamti beaten against their waist, fitted with ghungaroos called chaurasi. Mashak is the instrument they play. The mashak actually is a complete goat skin with no stitches and is filled with air with an indigenously devised safety valve that reserves air in the body of the skin. We hear a double reed mashak playing melodies of 3 main notes. Nad, or the shepherd flute, made from the Kangor variety of bamboo, belongs to the camel breeders, who play melodies of love called bent on its 4 notes. Notice the 5th note that the artist adds live from his vocal cord. The nad is now almost extinct. Morchang, an iron frame with a vibrating tongue which is plucked with jerking movements of the right hand. A popular instrument of the shepherds who play it in the deserts of Rajasthan. Ghuralia, actually a morchang of bamboo, belongs to the Kalbelia nomad tribe of snake charmers. The string tied when jerked emits notes. Satara, algoza, pawa, or jodi. This particular double flute of equal sides is the Joda Satara. The Joda Satara too belongs to the shepherds, but recently professional caste musicians have also adopted it. Needs a continual breathing in. It is the artist's dexterity that maintains the continual drone on one flute, while the other flute plays pastoral melodies. Deoda Satara. 2 sets of double flutes of unequal size. The drone flute is longer than the playing one, hence 1.5 or deoda. We hear a doha, the starting melody, followed by a Rajasthani lyric dhun. This colorful wind instrument, bedecked with colored beads, is used entirely by the snake charmers. It also accompanies the traditional marriage songs sung by tribal women. Chung, the vast single-faced drum. Manjira, tiny cymbals. And khanjari, a wooden ring frame with metal jingles, are used by the Kalbelia and Jogi communities on holy festivals. The chung is struck with a soft padded club with the right hand. Chip. Two bird feathers also strike it from the lower edge. Kamaicha, hollowed out of a single block of wood, comprising a peg box, a fingerboard, and a large circular wooden resonator. It has 3 main strings of gut, called agor, and 5 of brass, called jhara, with 9 sympathetic strings, called jheel. The kamaicha is used by the professional class of musicians, called manghaniaras, on all the important occasions of life. Kartal, made of black teak wood plates. This instrument also belongs to the Manghaniar community of reputed Muslim percussionists, reflecting rag raganis. It accompanies almost all types of singing that relate songs of Hindu mythology. Manghaniars are the traditional musicians from the Bardmer and Jaisalmer deserts of Rajasthan. Sindhi Sarangi belongs to the famous Langa family of musicians, patronized by the Muslim community of Sindhi Sipai. It has 27 strings of brass, steel, and gut. Gujaratan, for accompaniment in singing, also used by the Langa community. The main string is of steel. Altogether, there are 14 strings. We hear excerpts of the famous love ballad of Gujarat and Rajasthan, Jasma. echoing notes of a miniature shehnai. Here's a most enchanting folk melody played on these three instruments. Sarinda, a very popular folk instrument of Rajasthan, played with a small bow. Unfortunately, the sarinda is getting out of vogue. Shehnai and Nakara, the reed instrument, and the two cylindrical empty bowls pasted with buffalo skin played with sturdy wooden sticks. The Nakara is played on auspicious occasions, reflecting an element of grandeur with its invigorating rhythm. Bankia, played by the Sargara community of the Nagaur area at their marriage ceremonies. This instrument, made of brass, has two parts entwined in a U shape with an engraved body. It's also used to call people to assemble. Jantar, an ancient instrument of Rajasthan. It's a bamboo, fixed with wax to 14 bone frets. It has two main steel strings on the right-hand side, running parallel to the body. The jantar is essentially a ballad instrument, used by the Bhopas singing the epic ballad on the life and exploits of Bagrawat, a hero of the Gujars who worship the deity. Boli or papari, a slotted bamboo frame tied at two ends with a rubber tongue placed in between the slots. In the mouth, it is actuated by air pressure and is used by the traditional Rajasthani puppeteers as the voice of the puppet characters. Tali dance, a ritual connected with the 15th century folk deity of Ramdev. Women perform, and men accompany them on the tambura, cymbals, and dholak. They start with the propitiation of Ramdev. With swords held in their mouths, women perform with swinging arms and tiny cymbals fixed on their legs. And yet, they avoid the cut of the sword. The talis tied to their legs are of an octave frequency. The artist can perform 13 rhythmic patterns, and hence probably the name Tera Tali. Shank blowing the most sacred notes that mark the beginning of a Ravan Hatta recital. Ravan Hatta is the cherished veena of the Nayak and Thor castes called Bhopas, who worship the pastoral hero Babuji. The belly of a coconut shell fixed to a long bamboo. It has no fingerboard, but sympathetic strings varying from 3 to 14. A unique example of an open-string bowed chordophone. The bow is made of a curved wooden stick or even an iron rod with jingle bells attached to it. The ballad is sung in sequence to the big scroll depicting the life of Babuji.